Hey guys, Jamie here from Real Steel. I'm gonna give you all a quick update on the Fury. I'm not gonna be working on it today because it's colder than a well digger's butt in the Yukon. I know 45 really isn't cold to some, but to me, with the wind chill, yeah, it's a little chilly. Anyway, let me show you some things I got going on here. Alright, first thing you might notice is my interior's a mess, but that's what happens when a project car. But another thing, I changed out the steering column. The tilt column was junk, had issues, and I've never really had good luck. So the old yellow car, she donated her regular column and wheel. You might also notice I'm going to put my gauges up there, I believe, though I might have to move some vents in order to do so, just to string everything through. My reasoning is I don't trust factory gauges, and it's just easier for me just to take a slight glance down rather than look down past the radio and just to see what my vitals are. I don't like to really take my eyes off the road too much. I've got my truck set up pretty much the same way. My gauges I guess I just don't prefer them, hanging below the dash. I say it's got to be within eyesight. And really the only gauge that I'd be blocking would be the idiot light for the oil. I can still see my alternator gauge, my factory temp gauge, and my factory gas gauge, and of course speedometer. But that'll be a future endeavor when I start getting the interior done on this thing, which hopefully will be pretty soon. Alright, now that we're out of the interior, we can go ahead and move on to the engine bay. You can see I've got her a little bit more dressed up. Did a daily driver quality paint job on the AC compressor and brackets and stuff for the power steering. Brand new power steering hose, since the steering box fitting on the old one decided, well, we'd rather just twist the hose off than come off. So I guess that's the way she goes. Electrical is pretty much sorted. When I started, I only had headlights and emergency flashers and an ignition start circuit, and that was because Mr. Mouse decided to make a meal out of my fusible link, the one that ran the main ignition power. So that's what's going on there. Just a second, we got a nice little train going through. Alright guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Train moving here slower than molasses on a cold day, which ironically it's cold, so I can't tell if he's loaded or not. But anyway, electrical is pretty much sorted. You can see I've strung a wiring harness. It's a mess, but I strung a whole new harness from the yellow car, which it's in pretty good shape. And as we know from one of the previous videos, that's a runner. All I've really got left to do electrical is sort these lights. Now these are, sorry about that noise, you can't really see, but these are a crimped in bulb. And I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to replace that crimped in bulb with a regular push-in socket when we get down to it. Alright, now over here you can see I've got the old Carter tore apart. Got everything pretty much sorted out. This is a Carter Competition Series carburetor. You can see it's got a Chrysler lever on it, which is why I chose that particular one. And you can see how I've got my floats laid out, left float, right float, all the boosters and shooters and all that stuff. Try not to get those things mixed up, and I always remember if the carb's facing me or facing away. And it's hard to see in here. I've got to get light, but it's not terrible. It just needs a good little cleanup, and then this should be good to go. And I'm hoping that my kickdown geometry is going to be right, since that's a replacement Chrysler carburetor. So I'm going to rebuild that, stick that on there. As far as the rest of the car goes, I've still got some underneath stuff. Got to pop the shift linkage back together, neutral safety switch. And since I went from a 904 to a 727, I've got to shorten a drive shaft, which that'll be not a terrible expense, but it'll be one of those expenses. Unless I can find something in my drive shaft pile, which I've already started looking, and I really don't think I have. Then other than that, it's brakes and fuel system, and I think if I can get the drive shaft done and the fuel system, under the hood like I still got it, I think I can actually put it around the block. The brakes are decent enough. Now, I'm not going to go fast or anything, but to actually take it around the block, which it ain't been on the road in 35 years, so... But after that, I'm just going to replace the calipers, hoses, and all that, and I'll see how the hardware looks. Since it's cheap, I may just go ahead and replace everything except the rotors, because my yellow car rotors are still pretty good shape. So I'll just have to take it by ear, but hopefully I can get some more work done on this beast this weekend. Alright guys, that's a quick update on the old brown car. Just going to leave you there with all this, and hopefully I can maybe make a longer video next weekend. I'll actually have it running, and I can run it long term, but we'll see how things go. But until then, I'll catch y'all on the flip side, and I'll see you on the next video. Later.